Taking a look at a Generac Speedwash pressure washer this morning. Customer brought it back after we serviced it, went through it. It had bad gas and stuff in it. We cleaned the carb, replaced the intake gasket, flushed the fuel system, got it all back running good and everything. But he says the pressure is pulsating in and out. It'll work fine for about 20 or 30 seconds and then it fails to work anymore. So we're taking a look. We're gonna figure out what's going on. Now this happens quite a bit on a pump like this. You've got a pump here, and basically what happens, if there's any air in the lines anywhere, that'll cause you to get an air pocket in there, or if there's a restriction for the water supply. So the air pocket a lot of times will cause surging and things like that, and if it's not sealed everywhere, it'll continue to pull air, pulsate, and or get low pressure. Turn the water on here real quick. As you can see, I've got this all tightened up. I actually used pliers and tightened that all the way. There is a gasket in there. It is not sealing well. So that could be part of the problem. This was not on here when the customer brought it in. Seems like we're getting good flow through it. See if we can let as much air out as we can before we start it. Now, if you're not getting any water flow at this point, you know you have either a restriction at the inlet or at the outlet. You can take it off here and see if you're getting water to here. Then you can go ahead and test further up. You can go ahead and go to the wand, you know, and disconnect it here. If you're getting water here and it's not going through to this side when you're pulling the trigger, you have an issue, you know, on the internals. But a lot of times it's just a clogged tip at the end also. You can take that off and check it, make sure everything's clean. And this thing is, everything looks good. Let's start it up. If all those are good and you know you have good water supply to it, now this is not a good seal. We're gonna wanna fix that before we go much further, but I'm gonna show you here what it's doing for them. Well, these will up to half knock up like that. Okay, fuel on. Right, so we have this thing up here now. You saw how it was pulsating real bad, and then the pressure just died out, and this was within seconds. He said he got about 20 seconds out of it. Something might have been a little bit different. Again, this piece was not on here when this thing was brought in, but as we're inspecting it, we look at this inlet here. It's almost completely clogged full of stuff. It's not sealing well to the one side, to the outside. It's not going to make a good seal, and you're going to pull air constantly through. Now he's got this contraption here to, I think it basically can adjust the output of your chemical solution. I'm not real familiar with these, but it's already got a chemical injection pump. So I'm not sure exactly why he's using this in addition to the other. When it came in, again, we just went ahead and hooked it up here, and there is another screen in here. I was going to pull it out and see if it was clogged also. So this one's clear, nothing in it whatsoever, and it's perfectly round like it should be. At this point, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave the injection out, this piece here, I mean, look how clogged that is. I mean, there's just all kinds of stuff through there, a bunch of it. Not gonna make a good sealer on the outside, so you're gonna continue to pull air. And then also with all that gunk in there, you don't want that running through the pump either, but it's getting hardly any water. Air along with water, it's not gonna compress right, it's not gonna pressurize right, you're not gonna get a good power washing out of it. Let's see how it does, now that we've got that done. Now, if you've checked all that out and you're still having issues and not getting any pressure out of your pump, you're getting good water through and everything, water supply, no leaks or anything like that, next thing you're gonna wanna check is the valves. Now this thing has 3 valves on it. If you take these covers off, you can actually pull these valves out. Now this one's got a kit. This one's been sitting around forever, but similar to this down in it. And it's just these plastic valves that you can pull the whole assembly out. Let me show you one, show you a little bit bigger one I've got out here. So something like this, it's similar to this here. Now they're made out of a few different pieces if you actually take them apart, but what'll happen is this plate on the inside will get a little piece of debris or something in between here and cause it not to seat right. When that happens, it doesn't get pressurized. See how that's seated good there? Now if it's got something to one side, kind of fits wonky like that, where one side will stay up. Now you can take these apart. The plastic comes off of the metal or away from the metal. Gotta kind of pry it out. I'm not gonna do that right now. I don't want to ruin this valve. But check those, make sure that they're seating properly if you're still having issues with the pump at this point. Get some water turned on here. So in this case, the only issue, which is many times the case, is that there was an air leak and a blockage. There are many different kinds of blockages that can get blocked many different places, whether it's the water supply in. Now if your hose, wherever you've hooked it up at the spigot, if it is not tight there and it's leaking, you're gonna have the same issue. It's just pulling air in with the water. If your water pressure is super low, a lot of these are 2.5 gallons plus. Some places in the country and some places, some small towns and stuff like that, they get really poor water pressure. You may have an issue with this thing keeping up from the water pressure. If your inline hose, the hose inlet is collapsing on you, bad water supply. It's trying to suck the water faster than the water's being supplied. See that quite a bit. Again, just any blockage through here. The water comes in, goes in and out your valves, through the pump, the pressure regulator, or unloader, I'm sorry, and then out here, down to the wand and through. Any of those positions can be clogged. Check all those out. As soon as you get those fixed up, you should have your issue solved and be able to use your pressure washer no problem again. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.